I want to talk to you guys about something that I've mentioned so many times before, but I've never actually put it into a video. I've just said it in a passing comment. I am a wholeheartedly believer that George St-Pierre is the greatest fighter of all time. You see that GOAT term thrown around. Wait, first of all, other than Artem Lobov, let's just clarify that. If we exclude Artem Lobov from this conversation, then George St-Pierre is the greatest fighter of all time. Okay? And that gets thrown around a lot. People say Khabib's the GOAT with one title defense. People Jay Jones, DC, even though Jones beat DC. Anderson Silva in his prime. You've got Demetrius Johnson always in the conversation. Jose Aldo in his title reign. There's a lot of guys that are in the conversation. I'm going to break it down to you guys why I think George St-Pierre is the greatest fighter of all time. And I don't feel like there's any argument against it here. When I go through the list of what I want to see that qualifies someone for the pound for pound greatest fighter of all time, this is what I want to see. A lot of title defenses. Okay? I want to see barely any losses, but what excuses GSP from this list. Because I know what you're going to say, well, Jones has never lost. Which is fair enough. Well, he has kind of lost, but he never lost. Khabib's never lost, which is fair enough. But when you look at GSP's losses, he's redeemed both of them in rematches. Both of them are called Matt, by the way, which I think is a weird coincidence. So, you know, if anyone out there called Matt wants to make some good money, just sign on a dotted line with GSP and you'll knock him out. Apparently, that seems to be how it works. Either way, he's beat everyone he's lost to. He had loads of consecutive title defenses. I think it was 9. Off the top of my head, I'm thinking 9. It was a decent weight class. And when I say that, I mean the flyweights get a lot of slack because they don't mean as much as the heavyweights. Because the heavyweights, there's a lot more risk. Way more risk to lose. And at flyweight, there's not a lot of risk to lose. But welterweight is a good mix of both. Where a lot of techniques are on display. A lot of competitors are in that actual niche bracket. Because at heavyweight, there's not many heavyweights going around. There's not many flyweights going around. But welterweight is one of the most common weight classes for fighters. So you've got a massive talent pool. And GSP was on top of it. Okay? And I feel like it's the perfect mix between technique and skill and risk of being beaten. It's either that or middleweight. That's the perfect mix right there. And you're talking GSP. 9 consecutive title defenses. Okay? Jones has had a lot of title defenses. They've been interrupted. By his own actions, fair enough. They have been interrupted. Okay? If you look at GSP's title fight wins, they're 13. If you look at Jones's wins, they're a fucking shit ton as well. Actually, I don't think there's 13, but GSP has had a lot of wins of title defenses. John Jones had a lot of title defenses. They've been interrupted, whether it be for his own reasons or otherwise. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. And the third thing that I want to break down when it comes to pound for pound GOAT status is taking a belt in 2 different weight classes. That is the precedent now. Okay? Conor McGregor has set a trend where you kind of have to do it. And it's the only reason that DC is above John Jones in the pound for pound rankings right now. Because when you're looking for the GOAT, the pound for pound GOAT, you're looking at GSP. 9 consecutive title defenses. Beat everyone he lost to in a rematch. Okay? Took a belt in 2 different weight classes. He fills every single quota. He fills everything that you need him to. Okay? Not to mention he won the title, lost it, then came back. So in reality, it's more than 9 title defenses because he's fought for the title more times. He also fought Bisping for the title, but that doesn't count as a defense. The amount of title fights that GSP has won is way more than he's defended his belt. That number 9 is really a much higher number when you consider how many times he's fought for the belt. Because other champions, they get the belt, they keep it for a while, and then they're gone. As soon as they lose, it's kind of a downward spiral when they go. GSP wasn't that guy. I think he's the greatest of all time. I think he's the greatest of all time. People say Khabib. Listen, we'll run through the list and I'll demonstrate why they aren't. First of all, Demetrius Johnson. Lost a bunch of times. Didn't redeem any of those losses. Yeah, didn't redeem any of those losses. I mean, you got Dominic Cruz, didn't beat him again. Brad Pickett didn't beat him again. You got Henry Cejudo, who he most recently lost to. He's lost to a few guys and he never got to redeem those losses. He had a lot of title defenses, but at a division where the risk level is so low and the chance of a knockout is so low. I mean, Henry Cejudo wasn't knocking guys out of flyweight. Comes up to bantamweight, all of a sudden, He knocks out fucking Marlon Moraes. You know what I'm saying? Even the weight cut makes Henry Cejudo not be able to knock people out. Even though he beat Wilson Hayes. Either way, the risk level at flyweight is so low. And also, Demetrius Johnson didn't take a belt in two different weight classes. Then we move up the list. Bantamweight's not really got... It's got some guys that float in the top 5. Like TJ Dillashaw could be considered. Dominic Cruz could be considered. Renan Barão could be considered. Then you go featherweight, Jose Aldo. Long title defense. Lost to a lot of guys. Lost to some guys twice. Max Holloway. Just lost to Alexander Volkanovski. He's kind of tarnished his legacy. Okay? And didn't take a belt in 2 different weight classes. You go to Khabib now. At lightweight, which people seem to be saying is the GOAT. Yes, undefeated. I accept that. 1 title defense. Can we calm down calling him the GOAT? Alright? Khabib can be the GOAT. If he beats Poirier Ferguson and goes on a spree and then goes up to 170 and takes that belt and maybe even fights GSP and beats him down the line, then we're talking about a GOAT. But right now, with 1 title defense, can you even make that argument? You know what I mean? I can't make that argument for Khabib. He beat a guy who was ranked number 11 or 10 on 1 day's notice in Al Quinta to get the belt in the first place. Then he defended against a guy who hadn't even been in the sport for 2 years, was boxing Floyd Mayweather, and was $100 million richer. You know what I'm saying? Good fighter. Great fighter. Maybe you can make the argument as maybe one of the best lightweights of all time. Or the best lightweight, pound for pound lightweight. The best lightweight of all time. You can make that argument. You can't make the argument for Khabib to be GOAT. Moving past welterweight to Anderson Silva, who's also in the mix. Lot of title defenses. Lost to a few guys. Stayed around too long and lost to even more guys. Okay? Never took a belt in 2 different weight classes. John Jones. Beat a bunch of guys. Picograms. Strippers. Pregnant women. I don't know. These are factors. I'm saying not for pound, but from messing up his own title defense streak. These are factors. Never took a belt in 2 different weight classes. Never beat Matt Hamill. Because obviously Matt Hamill TKO'd John Jones with headbutts to the elbow. A lot of people don't talk about this. Matt Hamill TKO'd John Jones with headbutts to the elbow. Not many people have that skill. Matt Hamill changed the game entirely with the headbutt to the elbow move. Okay? Then you look at DC. Lost to Jones. That tarnishes it. He's had a lot of title defenses. I give him that. Lost to Jones. You know? Belt in 2 different weight classes. You look at GSP. It solves all the other problems that the other guys have. Lots of title defenses. 9. Second most in UFC. No, not second most in UFC history. Maybe second most in UFC history. I'm not sure. Top 5 in UFC history in title defenses. Guaranteed. Top 3 maybe. 9 title defenses in a row. Beat everyone he lost to in only 2 guys. Okay? Fought at the elite level against elite guys. Took on rematches and beat some guys twice if needs be. Took belts in 2 different weight classes. Whatever you say about Bisping, whether he deserved to be champ, whether it was a fluke against Rockhold, GSP beat him and took the middleweight belt. That's all it needs. The definition of pound for pound GOAT. The definition of pound for pound is no matter where you are, what weight you are, no matter what you weigh, who is better. And a guy who can go from this weight and be the best and that weight and be the best is literally the definition for pound GOAT. If you're the best at 2 different weights, you're the pound for pound GOAT. GSP is the greatest fighter of all time. Done. No questions. I don't see any arguments otherwise. It's GSP. Jones can get there. Believe me, if Jones goes up and gets the heavyweight belt, immediately I say GSP is no longer the greatest fighter of all time. It's Jones. Okay, if DC comes back down and beats Jones, I might make the argument for DC to be greatest pound for pound of all time. Actually, I will say that DC is the greatest pound for pound. He'll never do that because he likes eating and snacking a bit too much. GSP. Remember the name. He's the greatest fighter of all time. Don't you guys forget it, alright? I hope that broke that down to you as clear as possible. Because this has been on my mind for a while. And I feel like when it comes to the GOAT talk, no one seems to be mentioning him. No one seems to be mentioning him at all. And I think if he retires now and never comes back, which he seems to have done, he'll be the GOAT for a very long time. Because Jones, all of a sudden, is looking very beatable. Click that button there. Goodbye.